Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another video for Battlefield 1. And in this video I want to speak about elite classes. Now if you guys haven't heard about elite classes before, they are basically very powerful classes that you can play as if you find the corresponding weapon crate in the map. Basically, you spawn in and located around the map there are different crates, and if you go over and pick them up and you grab the associated weapon, you then assume the role of that class. Now there are 3 in total. There is the Sentry, who is basically a big, heavy armoured guy who carries a machine gun. There is the Flame Trooper, who of course walks around in flame retardant gear, has a gas mask on, and has a flamethrower. And you also have the Tank Hunter, who is a sniper class with a very powerful anti-vehicle sniper rifle. So those are the 3 classes. They are located around the map. I suppose if you were kind of looking for a comparison, a non-Battlefield comparison, you could kind of look to Star Wars Battlefront and think of them like playing as Vader or Luke Skywalker or something like that. But either way, they're powerful classes, they are a lot stronger than regular infantry, they can deal a lot of damage, but they are also sought after, so it's kind of in your interest to make sure you know where they are on the map, partly because it means you can then make a beeline for them when you spawn and try and grab them for yourself, and also because at least it means that you kind of know what to expect when going to those areas, you know what might come at you from that spawn. So, to begin with, I'm going to tell you guys where to find them, and then we'll talk a little bit about the classes. So if you do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated, comment down below and let me know your thoughts. But kicking things off with the map. This is the new map, the Sinai Desert, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And the elite classes are located at B, F and E. Located at B is the Flame Trooper. If you basically run towards this broken wall, you jump over the wall. To the left you'll find this crate, and this is what you're looking for. All of the elite classes will be found at these kind of crates, these spawn crates, and then if you go over and the weapon is in the crate, you then simply press the corresponding key or button to interact with it, and you then assume the role of that class. So as mentioned, this is the Flame Trooper located at point B, and this is typically nearest the Ottoman spawn on the left. You then go over to point F, and this is where you'll find the Sentry. If you're coming over from the west side of the map, then you'll run down this sort of path between the canyon, and you'll then come to this sunken area on the right hand side. There are some ammo crates located around, there's some awnings, some tables, and again by the side of this sunken part there is another crate, and this is where you'll find the Sentry elite class. And finally, the one out in the middle of the desert, equidistant from both of the spawns, is E, and this is where you'll find the Tank Hunter. For this one, again, you want to run down towards where the buildings are, then you'll find this sort of collection of boxes among, again, like a wooden trench-style formation, and at the back of that is another crate, and that is where you'll go and find the weapon needed to assume the role of the Tank Hunter. So, that is where you find the 3 elite classes, so of course that's going to benefit you guys when you start playing the beta, and you have a chance to go and try and seek these out for yourself. Now do bear in mind, once someone's picked one up, you of course can't pick up the same class, you need to wait for them to die and for it to respawn. They do respawn quite frequently, so it's not like you'll only see, one a match, you will actually see them relatively frequently, but regardless, you can only play one at a time, so if you do really want to use these, then use that knowledge to your advantage and make a beeline for that point. But now if we take a step back for a second and speak about the 3 classes, so first up you have the Sentry. This is, for want of a better comparison, a walking tank. You have a water-cooled machine gun, and you're clad in heavy armor. You also have like a heavy armored helmet as well, so if someone goes to headshot you, it won't necessarily kill you in one shot. You also have a whopping 200 bullets in your magazine with 1,000 in reserve, so you can walk through and blitz through your enemies. Now, of course, if you're fighting infantry, you will mow them down with no trouble at all. Obviously, if you're going up against a vehicle, it's probably not going to go in your favor, so you do still want to pick your battles sensibly, but it's safe to say that if you get into a situation where maybe you're in like a town or an area with lots of tight corners and condensed buildings, and you do find a lot of infantry coming your way, then it's very easy for you to mow through all of them without too much trouble. One of the things you do want to bear in mind though is while you might not be able to headshot this class, you are unable to put on a gas mask if you are using the Sentry. So use that to your advantage and know that if you come up against a Sentry, maybe throw a gas grenade in the vicinity, they can't walk very fast, so they won't really be running out of the gas, and you could then either run around them or just go and hide and let the gas do the work. So that's kind of a good way to counter the Sentry. Moving over to the Flame Trooper. Now this one of course does have a gas mask, a permanent gas mask, so your visibility is admittedly a little bit reduced. And while you do have flame retardant gear, you're not actually flame proof, because as I found out firsthand, if you try and say shoot someone through a window with a flamethrower and you accidentally say burn the interior of the building, you can actually burn yourself. So you're not actually immune to flames, so don't just go around trying to think you can just be like a flame lord. But having said that, again, if you meet any infantry, you can burn them very, very quickly, and given the spread of this weapon, it's very easy to control a space. Of course, you can scare people away if people try and run towards you or they're in a building. Just spraying fire towards them is a surefire way to make people run away. But because you don't really have any armor plating, and because the flamethrower doesn't have the longest reach, you do want to be wary of people putting distance between you because, of course, if they're sniping from afar, there's not really a lot you can do. So finally moving over to the Tank Hunter. Now this class uses the M1918. I'm not going to try and pronounce that German word because I know that I will mess it up. But it's a very powerful anti-vehicle sniper rifle. Now if you do want to snipe with this thing, you can't just use it from hip fire because of course it's a high power weapon. You have to be prone to use this. So if someone does run up on you, then you can switch to a secondary and use that as a backup. But don't think that you can go quick scoping with this thing or, you know, just like quickly firing at someone's head because you do have to be prone to use this weapon. But if you are prone, it does devastating damage. As you can see in some of the gameplay here, I can one-shot a lot of vehicles. Some of the more powerful vehicles, of course, they do take a few more shots. And of course, if you're fighting things like planes, it's very easy to disable their engines, as I managed to do there. I was actually pretty happy with that, being able to snipe a plane. Not something I normally do in Battlefield, but this is, without a doubt, a very, very good way to pick off vehicles from afar, especially considering you have to be prone to use this. It's going to be very easy for you as a tank hunter to say, you know, post up on top of a mountain, stay prone, be quite hard to see, and of course pick off vehicles. I would imagine it's going to be quite hard for vehicles to see you, so you probably want to watch out for infantry, because if you are prone, you know, scoped in, trying to pick off vehicles, tanks, planes, anything like that, then you're going to be an easy target for people coming behind you. But yeah, if you do have your back covered, then it's a surefire way to deal with a lot of vehicles. If your team is being harassed by a vehicle, or perhaps maybe yours are either disabled, or some of your teammates have jumped in and they've driven to the other side of the map and don't know what they're doing, then you could definitely assume the role of a tank hunter and deal with that vehicle from afar. So those are, in a nutshell, the 3 elite classes. As mentioned, they will all be on the map. The Flame Trooper is located at B, the Sentry is located at F, and the Tank Hunter is located at E. So remember those locations for when you guys go hands-on with the beta, because again, it's going to be very useful. And of course, if you're just interested in trying them out, then it means you can kind of rush there ahead of your team. But with that said and done, that's pretty much it from me. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you did, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below, let me know what you think about the elite classes. And thanks for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.